Hey there guys, so the last time in the anime, we saw that Nagumo had casted the buff on Shizu's sword and also on other members' weapons to get a hold of evolution magic. With it they arrived in the very last dungeon, a frost cave. But just as they reached there, they found some cute little bunnies. Girls were falling flat for them. But Nagumo was a bad boy and didn't give a crap, and eventually tore them apart because those bunnies had the skill of sucking out heat from the body. So they'll be done for if the girls had hugged them. But then another level of fighting broke out, and this time, monsters spawned from the wall. So Nagumo and his girls chose to deal with the small fries while Koki managed to take down the big one. But a minion took the boss core, and the core got sucked into the wall. So in a way the boss survived a fight, yet the dungeon gives them the way to go right on ahead. It was confusing, and as they moved forward, Koki started to feel anxious all of a sudden because he kept hearing some sort of voice in his head. He tried to act all good and all, but no one else but Koki was able to hear that voice. That's why Koki was on edge, and just from a little noise, he got startled and freaked out. Some people in the group noticed his odd behavior, and finally Koki opened up about the voice. But she has said she couldn't hear anything even with her sensitive bunny ear, so Koki tried to make them believe that he heard it. So for now Nagumo asked Shia to keep her ears open. Then Koki once again heard it, and got desperate to prove that he's not hallucinating. But sadly none were able to hear the voice. But they believes what Koki says is true, but Koki didn't believe on others. There were no noise, no magic, so T.O. guessed Koki had fallen for mind games of dungeon. But it was too soon for that, and Nagumo was keeping an eye on Koki himself. So he assured Koki he believes in him, and told him he could be under the influence of the dungeon. So he warned others as well because right now he doesn't have a way to prevent it. Then, after that, the voice spoke again, saying to Koki that no one believes in him. But the voice seemed familiar to him for some reason. Maybe it was imitating someone's voice for starters. But the voice again said no one believes what he says. And this time Shizu heard a voice too, but it said to her that she's looking away again. And it's not Shizu, but others heard the voice too, and Nagumo get what's going on. Koki seems to recognize the voice, so that means it's their own inner voice at work here. It's just that hearing own voice had a different sound to it, so they weren't able to tell it clearly. And Nagumo heard he doesn't have a place back in Japan because a murderer can't live a normal life. Means it's their inner fear or guilt talking to them. But Nagumo doesn't mind and finds a place to rest. And while resting, Shizu remembers once in school, Kaori was looking forward to play a knight and wanted Shizu to become princess for the play. But the whole class thought Shizu is more fit to be knight and Kaori should be princess because Shizu knows kendo. That criticism led to accept the role of a knight, and Kaori was greatly disappointed in that. Shizu was a pushover. That's why everyone used to dump their work on her. So the voice used that weakness against her, that she will always be alone, as others would only cling to her for their own profit. And this time she saw clearly that voice, and it said again, she doesn't have a place. That woke her up from the shock, and Suzu saw this, and told her not to take too much stress. Kaori heard it too and knew Shizu always worry about others, so she should put her own interest first sometimes, as a bestie she knew. And after a brief rest they again took off, and Koki heard the voice again, and it made him frustrated, and he saw his own self smiling, so he freaked out and told this to others. Shizu said she believes in him, but Koki thinks otherwise. Then they came to another large-sized cave where they had a door right up ahead, but no monster or beast in the area, so it felt too weird. So they guessed there could be an ambush up ahead. And even so they kept going forward, and finally the Ice Knights came down to block their way. They had heavy armor, so everyone attacked them with their best attack. But Kaori, Ryu, Koki, and Shizu's attack were diverted at their own rivals. Shia thought she did something wrong to Shizu, that's why she attacked her. And Koki spoke on everyone's behalf, that they never intended to attack them. But it just happened at the last moment when they were about to release the attack. And Kaori also said the voice she heard lured the attack away from the target, which means that whatever the voice is, it's getting inside their subconscious part of their mind to take over their action. So taking care of them would be hard for now, as they have Ice Knight right up ahead. So Nagumo brought the big blasters out, and everyone took cover to avoid the blasting effects. Nagumo emptied the whole launcher on the knights, but only one out of that whole horde got destroyed. Which means everyone has to destroy their own Ice Knight target, But how could they when they have their subconscious mind problem? So that's the twist of clearing out this floor. Tio and Shia were capable of handling their own, but Kaori wasn't, and Yui told her to concentrate. But her attack still went to Yui, so Yui told her to try again. And she knew her attack would again go to Yui, so she asked Yui to drive it at a 45-degree angle, which eliminated her obstacle. But Shizu had time, because she was the same, but she did things differently. Instead of using ranged attacks, she went for close quarters and used her strength to take out her target. Almost everyone did their work, and seeing Kaori and Shizu so close, girls started to troll them, saying they looked like lovers. But those 3 weaklings were still stuck with their target, which they eventually took care of. And now it was time to cross another level of the dungeon. And after getting inside, Nagumo was stranded alone from others, but he kept going forward and arrived at a new cave, where he saw himself and lost a spirit. He started to believe that he really doesn't have a place back home because he's a murderer, but that's how he lured out his evil self to confront it. But our episode 11 ends right there, so stay tuned to watch another episode of this anime. For that, subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon to receive the latest updates. Till then, take care.